truth. This is Joel Supernaw, and I am at my job, government fleet sales, at my desk. It is 2 below zero outside. So we hired, so I've worked out here for 7 months. I'm a one-man band, government car lot. So I don't work for the government, but it's called Government Fleet Sales. We sell cop cars, we sell Tahoes, we sell a little bit of everything. We're a real car dealership with a niche. Well, anyway, it's just been me and an office gal. We just hired a porter, finally. Well, she's a girl, and she won't go outside. So last week I'm like, okay, there was one good day last week, so I moved all the cars, made it look like a car lot again, and she helped me. She did her level best. Freezing again. It's been freezing every day. So she's just been doing nothing. So I talked to the owner yesterday, and I'm like, hey man, I don't think I don't think she's gonna make it. He's like, why? You got to tell her what to do. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, well, she's a girl. I hate confrontation. God. So anyway, so today I come. It's 2 below zero. I come in. She's sitting at her desk. She didn't even have a desk. She just took a desk. But she's a lot porter. Said, hey, can you? And before I got to, start some cars, go get some batteries, she said, I'm not going outside. So I said, okay, that's fine. I just can't have you sit here all day if you're not going to do nothing. That's generally what I like to do. So it's just me. I'm at work. If the phone answer it, but I got a special guest on today, and we're trying to do something. Me and Brother Center are doing something this week. We're doing a favor to a buddy of ours who's traveling, who likes to listen to the pods. He's kind of hostage, and I owe him a favor, so I promised him I'd give him, a bunch of pods. My good friend is my guest today. He's actually recording this from out in Podunk, Oregon. Scott Tong Po Davenport. Scotty, how are you doing, buddy? Okay, I'm going to assume that's pretty good. So, I like to give my buddy an hour, and I think by telling this epic story that we went through last year, that we can actually give him an hour on one story. Do you believe that is attainable, Mr. Davenport?
This story has no end, so it could go as long as you want it.
Okay, so let me kind of set the scene for where the story comes in. So Scott has been in the mixed martial arts scene. Where are you anyway? Medford or Eugene or no, you're way the hell. Where are you?
Yeah, Medford.
So that's like. Sorry, I gotta sneeze. That's like 4 hours from Portland. So Scott, I hook up with Scott. I start to be a mainstay on this podcast called You're Welcome, and Scott's my go-to guy. He's just like every time I lose my lid on Chael's show, he's like, you got to bring it up a notch. You got to do, So he's kind of my consigliere for the podcast, and this is right at a year ago. Chael's fighting at the Forum, and I want to take Ladd because now Ladd's a huge fan of, even though he's known Chael and Randy his whole life, he's just become a fan like 3 years ago of the sport, but he knows everything about the sport. And so I want to bring Ladd to the fight, but Chael's going to shoot 2 podcasts the day before I'm supposed to arrive. So me and Ladd are going to go out or 2 days before I'm supposed to arrive. Me and Ladd are going to go out on Thursday Wednesday or Thursday. I don't remember the date. You will. And brothers in Malibu. He's got this beautiful spread. But Chael's going to pot, I believe, on Monday. No, it's actually on Tuesday. Okay, so Chael's going to pot on Tuesday. I'm a mainstay on the pod. I don't want to miss an opportunity, to get my shine, to get my podcast on with Chael. So I fly out 2 days early, but now I have the problem being lad to the event. Okay, as I say this, now, I'm telling you this story, there's somebody pulling into the lot. Now it's 2 below zero. Now we're rooting for this person to drive through the lot. What do they drive? Oh, they're driving a Honda van. These people are never going to buy a van from me ever in a million years. They just need to keep going. Anyway, all right. So, me and I email. Now, I've never met Scott before in my life. We talked on the phone all the time, never met him before in my life. I'm like, hey, bro, there's a huge snowstorm in Portland. It never snows. The Honda's leaving, by the way. Great. There's a huge snowstorm in Portland, and to get to Portland from Medford, you got to go over the passes. You got to go over the mountains to get there. It's a hairy drive, especially if it's in a snowstorm. So I say, hey, buddy, do you want to go to the fights? I need you. He says yes. I believe, and I'll let you start filling in the details of Portland and how this planned out. But I believe you already left before we really finalized anything. Take over that portion of the story. Fill in any details you want.
Yeah, so what happened was you were still in Portland, and you were doing a podcast with Chael, and you kind of just threw it out there. You're like, hey, you want to go to the fights? Come up here. You could crash over at my ice box, the pit of death, the doom layer. And you were like, you just kind of threw it out there, and then you went and did a podcast with Chael. And then when you got out of the podcast, I was in Portland trying to find you.
Okay. All right. That is true. Okay. So at the time we're Chael and I are doing like 3 a week. So that's right. We went and then he's doing Beyond the Fights too. So we go to the studio and record a couple pods, a pod of Beyond the Fight, but he's still going to do 2 more the next day. So he goes to the airport. Now, Scott, what did you drive to get to Portland?
It was a Scion XB, one of those toaster vehicles on pizza cutter wheels. I mean, the smallest little wheels. I did 360s all the way up through the snow and the blizzards.
So the Scion XB, it looks like a refrigerator. It's 2 sizes bigger than a golf cart. Is that fair?
If that, yeah. That's making it sound kind of big. It's probably about the size of a golf cart.
All right. So the first time, so now it's on. Now, my plan, because I still have to get Miss H to okay. I got to get Lad's mom to okay a perfect stranger taking my son to Los Angeles 2 days later. So we start to plan, but first I meet Scott at a Denny's in Westland, Oregon. We have several beers with a buddy of mine named Matt Sprague, and we leave. Don't we leave your vehicle there?
Yes. Yeah, that is what we
okay.
did.
All right, so we leave the vehicle there. We go to another bar. We drink some more beer. We head back to the place where I'm living. Is with my buddy Israel, it's as cold in this. Is it a fair statement to say it's possibly colder in the house as it is outside of the house?
There was a full blizzard going with, full on wind chills. I mean, like, it was like being in Antarctica, and it was far colder in your room, far colder.
Okay, so
outside in the snow.
So Scott, the only thing he wanted, he wanted, what was that bad beer that you drank? Was it PBR or was it Busch Light or something?
PBR.
Okay, PBR. So Scotty gets some PBR. We call it a night. The next morning, we take an Uber home. We take an Uber home from the bar because at this time we have taken a little bit too much intake in, and the prudent thing to do is take an Uber. So we take an Uber to the car halfway to. And again, hold on. I'm Chael's right hand man. I'm this, that, and the other. I'm blah blah blah. But I hardly have any money. I mean, the funds are light. Okay, so the funds are light. So we're halfway or more to the car, and I realized I left the keys to the car at the truck. So the Uber has to turn around, go back to hours later, which is $100 that I didn't need to be spending. When we get the car, go to my gym. Is that about right, Scott?
Yeah, we went. So that's the next day, right? Yeah. So we ended up at a bar at some point and drank way too many beers and did the right thing. Yeah, you got an Uber and it took us to your pad. We froze all night, and then the next day we go to get the car, which is like 60 miles away. Like it's some bar like far across the earth. And I just remember, we got all the way there and then didn't have the keys and had to go all the way back to your house to get the keys and then go all the way back. So it was like 3 times as expensive for the Uber. But we get that the next day, and then we go to the gym, right? And I think that's when you started giving Chael strength through these crazy feats of wonder that you would do, because we were chilling there in the pool, and then you get in the pool and you're like, I've never swam across the pool underwater. And you're like, I'm going to do it so Chael wins. And then you just did it.
Okay, so to set the scene at Stafford Hills Club, it's a blizzard outside, but the pool is heated and it's outside. So yeah, I did make that trip. So the next important thing we have to do is we have to go get clearance from Miss H to let a perfect stranger take her son on an airplane to the fist fight. So instead of telling her the truth that, hey, I've never met this guy before, he seems to be a pretty good guy. I don't think he's a killer. We make him Chael's, what were you, the Muay Thai coach?
Yeah, his Muay Thai coach, yeah. Okay,
so okay, and so we can't, at this point, we can't let Ladd in on the gimmick that he's not, that he's a friggin' stranger, and he's not Chael's Muay Thai coach. So we go over to Miss H's house. I don't know if you even get in. So I go inside to let Miss H know I'm on my way to the airport, but I've got Chael's Muay Thai coach who's decided to stay because Chael's already in Los Angeles. I tell Miss H, I got Chael's Muay Thai coach. He's going to take Ladd to the event. Miss H loses her mind. I don't think this lasts 3 or 4 minutes before. Of course, she threatens to call the cops. She goes complete Miss H on me.
It was all absolutely bad. It was all bad.
Now, yes. Now I'm scared of Miss H. Now Miss H is 5'2", might weigh 105 pounds, and only has one leg. Okay, but boy, is she tough. So I'm devastated. I'm like, man, I already told Chael I'm going to go. Now I've even said, okay, I'll cancel. I'll cancel going early. I'll just go with Ladd. She's like, no, he's not going. You're an idiot. Okay. So I'm depressed. I fly to Los Angeles so I can do the pods with Chael. I believe it's on Tuesday. It might have been on Wednesday. Me and Chael do the pods, and I go to my brother's house in Malibu. Now somehow, the next day, you get Miss H to let you give you Ladd and take you to Los Angeles. How did you do that?
So it was 100% off, and I mean, it was off. I mean, Ladd wasn't going, and Ladd was pissed, and she, like you said, completely freaked out and was just like gonna call the police, like you said. It was so bad, and I think I just said, hey, can I meet you? Can I meet with you? Because Ladd was so upset. Ladd was just devastated.
How'd you get a hold of her?
I think you gave me her number, or maybe through Ladd, maybe Ladd's phone. I had Ladd's phone.
Hey, I'm gonna take this phone call. Keep telling the story.
So, I'm just like, hey, can we meet up and talk about it, and you can meet me and see what you think or whatever. And I went and went over to Ladd's house, to Mrs. H's house, and just met her. And I was like, hey, look, I'm a good guy, honest guy. There's nothing to be concerned about. You're gonna go with me to the airport and see us onto the plane, and then Joel's gonna be right there on the other side to meet us right when we get off the plane. So it's not some crazy situation or anything like that. And that worked. Luckily that worked, and it was cool because super bummed out to not be able to go. So once he found out that he could go again, he was pumped, and we were like best friends. I kind of was like his hero for doing that. He would, and we were just pals, good old pals, going on an adventure together.
Well, it gets better. So you guys are actually cutting promos. Ladd's cutting promos.
Major promos.
Ladd's cutting major promos in the airport. And so by the time you guys get to Los Angeles, you and Ladd are already bros. And now, have you become Tong Po at this time?
Man, how did I become Tong Po? Was that was you? And just so everyone knows, because I know people are probably going like, what was with that intro, right? The intro where I just screamed like a baboon right there. That was our thing, full baboon. When we were talking about the podcast, I was always telling you to go full baboon, like the Ultimate Warrior when he would run out to the ring and shake the ropes. And that was our thing, man. That's how me and you became best friends,
Yeah,
from the Ultimate Warrior.
Well, yeah, but see, we would call that full baboon, and I'd call you after. Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Because you would just go full baboon, and I was like, dude, you are the baboon king,
All right. So we get to Scott and Ladd get to Los Angeles, and we go to Malibu. Now, my brother has, he's got a $4 or $5 million place in Malibu, maybe more. God, I don't know what it costs. It's this beautiful, beautiful house. It's got tennis courts. It's got swimming pool. It's got everything, but it's still cold there too. It's cold. It's really, really cold in Los Angeles for the time. Well, he's got this underground lair. So that's where the common folk go. And I'm not quite sure if I tell him you're coming or not, but we go to the underground lair. So go ahead and run with the story in the underground lair and your next 2 days in Malibu.
Yeah, so whether you told him I was coming or not, he did not acknowledge my existence as a human being at all. He was just like pretended I didn't exist and was kind of like, I felt like I was like a wild raccoon that was hiding under his house and just waiting for the exterminator to come. He was like, let me.
So here's what was crazy about that. So yeah, he just disengaged that there's a guest downstairs, but the next morning you come up and he gives you a tour. Does he show you the new house he's building? He's a complete gentleman to you, and then you're banished again to the underground lair.
Yeah, he gave me this great tour and was like, let me show you my my room, my library, and then here let's go into the grand piano room where classical music is played 24 hours a day, and let me show you the view of my pool of splendor and my tennis courts and the trail to the beach. And then yeah, I mean, it is a beautiful house. I mean, that was like one of the most amazing houses I've ever been to in my life, easily. I mean, yeah, that's like one of the best houses in America, probably. And your brother's actually a really cool guy. I mean, he's actually really a great guy. Just like we like to joke about that. But yeah. But then I did get banished back down underground in the raccoon lair. And then I remember you were like, "Can Tong Po come to dinner?" And he was like, "No."
Yeah, we had to go. I had to bring you food. It was just odd. I don't know if it was because because he never tells his wife anything. He probably didn't tell her we were coming, whatever. So the beach is like a half a mile away. So we go to the beach. We have some good time out there. We cut some more promos, take some great pictures. And before we go to the fight, well, no, hold on. Let's back up a second. So one morning, while you guys are in the underground lair, I go to Malibu. And there's a bum outside of the Starbucks that looks like a young Charleston Heston. I mean, if there was a better looking bum, I think I'm supposed to say no homo or something when you talk about that. So anyway, so the bum was gorgeous. He looked like a tan Charles Heston, and I was fascinated by the bum. I was fascinated. How did this guy get here to Malibu, and what a genius he is for picking Malibu as a place to be the bum. You could tell he was a bum because he was taking money. But he was dressed kind of cool, he had kind of a cool bummy outfit to him. So I wanted to give the bum $20 and have a chat with him, like, hey, how did this happen? This, that, and the other. But I didn't have $20 on me. All I had was like $5 on me. So as I'm going out to give the bum the $5, and just a nod and a give him the $5. The bum shuns me like we shun bums. When we shun bums when we don't give them money.
Yeah.
The bum shuns me. So the rest of that day, once I tell Tong Po the story, the rest of that day is how can we find the bum as we still drink more beer.
Yeah, everything in the Boo is just more beautiful than anywhere else. I mean, that bum was like George Clooney being a bum, or Leonardo DiCaprio.
It might have been a guy doing. It might have been a guy doing what's that called when method acting. It might have been, but man, every time I've been to Malibu 3 times since that time a year ago, and I've been looking for this guy, and I know I got to come to the head with $100 bill, or he's not going to talk to me because he shunned my 5. I mean, he shunned my 5. So that means if you're not giving the bum, you've got to give the bum $20, or he's not going to take your money, which I respect. I mean, everybody needs a price point.
How about that private beach or Lukey J's hair?
Yeah, Lukey J has the. So my nephew, this is a boy of privilege. I mean, he lives in Malibu. His dad's filthy rich, but he's a really really good kid, and he has perfect hair. He has perfect hair. His hair is so perfect. Go ahead and talk about the perfect. Oh, I'm gonna reject that call.
It's phenomenal. It's so perfect. I mean, it doesn't move. No, I mean, he was like swimming in the pool, and he'd come out of the pool, and his hair would just be perfect still. It didn't make any sense at all.
And guys, listen, if this story seems to be dragging on, man, you've just got to wait, because the hook is coming. So remember, I have to plant this seed. Remember, we left Tong Po's car at the not the Denny's, at the Sherry's in West Lynn. Which
we ended up moving it, right? Did we move it to? We moved it to or no?
No, we only moved it to a little safer location in the same parking lot.
No. You know what? We moved it to that other breakfast spot.
Yeah, but which was 50 yards away. It was just we moved the car.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, we moved the car 50 yards. So again, nobody gets towed in West Lynn. So anyway, so bear with the story, guys. So we have this fantastic trip. I had a fantastic trip. It was a little odd that sometimes Tong Po existed, sometimes he didn't. See, we got another van. I'm giving you guys play-by-play of my work day in 12. I mean, who would buy a car when it's 2 below zero? Seriously, I have no. Like, if somebody comes in here, I'm like, why are you here? It's 2 below zero.
I got to share this part of the story really quick, just because it's like one of my favorite things that I've ever seen in my life. But one part of this adventure, at one point, you walked into a convenience store, and I think we were in an Uber or something because we were drinking. And you walk into a convenience store, and you grabbed a bunch of like beef jerky and chips and all this different stuff, all this candy and stuff. And you walked up to the cash register, and you threw it down on the table, and you looked the cashier in the eye, and you said, "I brought the stuff in." And then you never paid for it, and you just left with it.
I'm gonna let you have that story. I'm gonna let you have that story. It may or may not happen like that. I think it's funny. I think it's funny. It's a funny story that somebody would do that. And again, if I was gassed up,
you absolutely did that. That absolutely happened.
So it was
incredible.
All right.
Well, before you left, this was another part that was amazing. They had like a nacho and chili cheese machine in there for like hot dogs or something. You cracked open your bag of chips and poured a bunch of nacho cheese and chili cheese on it before you left.
I'm gonna let you have that.
It was amazing.
I'm not gonna cop to it, but that's funny. I'm not going to cop to it. That's funny. It's amazing that I've got a terrible memory. So we'll go ahead and give you this one. So we go to we finally go to the fight, and we'll get through the fight story rather quickly, because there's a so we go to the fight. Chael's fight Tito. Chael beats Tito by tap out in the first round. We go and celebrate, and now we're staying with my buddy Andy Pettick, at the hotel, and so after the fight, we're all boozed up. We're in a hotel. We're getting, I'm with Ladd, Andy's in the other bed, and Scott's on the floor. And, we're drunk talking, we're celebrating the victory. Oh, God, can you believe Chael tapped him out in, 45 seconds or a minute, whatever it was. And I tell Ladd, now by this time, Ladd and Tong Po are best buddies. They are, to this day, every time I talk to Lad, he's like, how's Tong Po? He calls you too periodically, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
So I say, hey, I say, Lad, go soccer. Lad, go soccer. Lad, go soccer kick Tong Po in the head. Man, Lad is a superstar. Lad's a superstar, but he's very, very literal. So Tong Po, what does Lad do when I say go soccer kick Tong Po in the head?
I mean, literally with absolutely no hesitation at all whatsoever. I mean, I had no chance to brace myself. He was standing up above my head. I'm laying on the floor in my head, like laying on the ground there. That's where I was going to sleep. Standing there facing you on the bed, he turns around and just full-on soccer kicks me right in the head as hard as he can. And just knock my head off. I mean, it was like,
I lost the volume. Where were we at? I lost you, Scott.
I'm here.
Yeah, this difficulties over here. We'll see if this fixes it. Nothing. How you doing? You got it?
Good. It's good on my end.
Okay. All right. I'm back. All right. So Lad soccer kicks Tong Po. Me and Lad leave you at the hotel with Andy, and we go back to Malibu, spend the day in Malibu with my brother, and then we're all flying out together in the evening. Now something happened. A pretty funny story happens when we leave you in L.A. before you get to the airport.
Oh, with Sakuraba?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm there at the airport and standing there waiting for, there's like a shuttle bus from the hotel to the airport. And I'm standing next to Kazushi Sakuraba, the foam roller. And Sakuraba is cool, man. Like, he's like a legend in MMA and everything. And I want to say this just because it blew me away because I was going up and asking if he could take a picture with them, which I thought was so interesting. And they had no idea who he was. No clue. He would just go around and find random girls and say, hey, can I take a selfie with you? And he'd take pictures with them. And it was like he was going up to a star and taking a picture with them, And I was just like, man, what an interesting guy.
All right, so you got this wrong. So you're at the hotel. You're in the hotel lobby. Sakuraba is getting ready to take the shuttle to the airport. You watch him, but you're 6 hours before your flight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So Sakuraba jumps on the shuttle to the airport, and he left his foam roller. He had this foam roller, and he left it there. And so I'm like, oh, man, Sakuraba left his foam roller. So I take it, and I jump on the next shuttle to the airport to go find him and bring him his foam roller, and never find him. And to this day, you have his foam roller, right?
Who did I give that foam roller to? Anyway, we'll get back to where the foam roller is. So basically what Tong Po does is he goes to the airport 6 hours early to try to find Sakuraba to give him his foam roller back. So the next time I see Scott, he's laying down at the airport, and he tells me a story. I got Sakuraba's foam roller. I came over here 6 hours early. I said, okay, you're absolutely out of your mind. So we take the trip back to Portland. We get there, we drop Lad off, and we go to pick your car up because then you're going to drive the pizza. You're going to drive the pizza cutter back to Medford the next day. Except the car's not there. So it's Sunday night. You can't get a hold of any of the tow yards, and the Monday, the next day, I've got to be back at work. So I get up and I do something. I might have went to the gym. I might have done something because I would have needed to give you a ride to the tow yard. So when I come back, you're gone. When I come back to the house of death, the coldest house in the world, the house with the worst mojo.
Wait. You didn't explain what happened to the car yet.
I know I didn't. I know. I'm going to let you take over. Okay? I'm going to let you take over because at this time, I don't know what happened to the car. At this time, you don't know what happened to the car. Okay? You don't know what happened to the car. I leave, I come back, and you're gone. And I'm like, where is Tong Po? So what did you do?
Okay, yeah. So I was in this ice box, and your room had like this giant picture of himself as the Buddha there in the hallway or whatever, and I was sleeping on the couch, and it was so cold. I mean, it was like cold to your bones, cold. You know, I mean, it was like being put in a freezer, be frozen, and so you could be like cooked and eaten later or something. Like I just couldn't sleep there. I was like, man, I'm just like wide awake. I'm so uncomfortable. I'm just like, this is miserable. I couldn't sleep, so I just got up. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go on a walk because it's nicer outside. It's more comfortable outside than trying to sleep here in this ice box. So I get up and I start walking down the road. You know, screw this. You know, like I'm ready to roll. You know, so I freaking throw my thumb up, pulls over, is like, hey, where are you? I'm trying to get back to Medford. And this guy's like, all right, well, I'm heading down to San Diego, so you could. And I just hop in this freaking truck, man. Head on.
Okay, but at this time, can you hear me? This is bad on my end. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, bro?
Yep.
All right. So here's what you're missing. At this time, you don't know where your car is. You don't know if it's at a tow lot, right?
You know, I can't remember. I thought that we did find out at that point. I thought that.
No, you jumped here. Let me tell the story since you've forgot. So Tong Po decides, if I'm going to get back to Medford, I've got to start walking now. He runs into a truck driver, and the truck driver gives him a ride back home. No, at this time, we haven't located the tow yard where your car has been taken to. So it turns out that Scott's car was stolen and burnt and taken to an abandoned field and burnt to the ground. Right, Scott?
Yeah, it was taken out in the woods, I think, right? Yeah, somewhere in the woods or something. Someone stole it and drove it way out in the woods and set it completely on fire, and it burned down to nothing pretty much, and left it there.
Okay.
And I thought we did know that at that point, and that's why I knew I had to like walk home like that.
Well, you might have known, but you didn't let me know. And what was that guy's name that picked you up?
Ernie Miles.
Ernie Miles, and he gave you a ride.
Yeah, Ernie Miles, he was heading to San Diego, and he picked me up and, drove me all the way home. Went right through Medford.
All right, so overall, so the trip. So I'm going to try to have this. Always a problem with this. So the trip. Here, let me do this. Let me get this off. Let me try it like this. Scott, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna do the rest without the headphones on, and hope it's recording. That's why the volume was down to nothing. Talk to me, Goose.
Yep, good. Sounds good on this end.
All right, cool. All right, so I'm gonna try to. This story was really, really epic, but I don't think it's gonna come out as epic as it lived. It's one of those stories that obviously neither one of us did a very good job telling, but let's move on. So Scott makes it all the way back. His car's burnt down. And now that's the last time I've seen you. Since then, you've gotten married, you've gotten domesticated, but you've maintained yourself as both a fan of the show and a fan of mixed martial arts. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this gets to our next point. So Brother Sin has a ticket to Los Angeles. He has a ticket to the fight, and he has his hotels paid for. And he's a huge fan, and he has clearance to go. So even though last night on the podcast I said, yeah, don't go, doesn't he owe it to the fans to go? Wouldn't that irritate you to no end as a fan that is going to sit in Medford, Oregon, and watch both fights on Saturday night?
If he doesn't go, I will fill my heart with rage and hate and anger, and I will set my one purpose in life before I die to murdering Brother Sin. And I'm a big fan of Brother Sin.
Okay. All right. Just so you know, don't ever talk about a capital crime when you're talking to a guy that did a stint in the Fetty. So he is not going to murder Brother Sin, but it would upset him if Brother Sin didn't go.
Brother Sin has to go. He just has to go. I mean, there's no two ways about it. He has to go for me.
Yeah, he does have to go for you. So last year, man, that forum is a huge, huge, huge place. And I've got to you were on the floor the whole time, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I was right there next to Scott Coker and Dan Henderson and all of them.
But you had a $30 ticket.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the ways of the Godfather rubbed off on me.
The ways of the Godfather rubbed off on you. Good job. You made it to the floor. But what was amazing about the show was, man, they sold that place out. Do you think Rampage and Chael will sell that place out during? See, here's the thing that I think. I think that fan base in Los Angeles is a completely different fan base. And Bellator does an amazing job of selling the event itself in terms of, you're going to be on TV, go to the event, spend $50 and go to the event. It will be interesting. It blew my mind that they sold that place out last year. I will be very, very surprised, and that's why Brother Sin needs to go. As a matter of fact, Brother Sin needs to go so we have a soldier on the ground that can tell us how the crowd is, because most people don't have any idea how big a crowd when they go to an event. They're like, oh, yeah, there was 1 million people there. And there was like 4. So with the UFC, with a very, very strong UFC card, I mean, 2 title fights, going head to head with the UFC, I would be blown away if they sell 12,000 tickets.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough going up against that heavyweight bout. I mean, that's the thing for me is I gotta see that Stipe fight. I have to. So I don't even know how.
The way to do it is you buy the UFC pay-per-view on your computer, and you watch the fights live. You watch the Paramount, whatever the hell the new name is. Why do they keep changing? Why do they keep changing names to channels? It makes no sense. So the way we're going to do it, if Ladd, boy, to tell you what a player Ladd is, I mean, Chael P is his guy. That's his ace deuce, and Ladd's trying to get his hustle on to go to the dance on Saturday, which he should do. He should try to get his hustle on, and go to the dance. I'm proud of him for that. So Ladd's been going back and forth with this young gal, and she gave him the cold shoulder. So he's like, he got the plan yesterday. Ladd is at school today trying to find a date to the dance. I'll update you guys tomorrow to see how that went. But the way we're going to do it is we're going to watch the fights on the television and the pay-per-view on the computer, because there's really only 2. It'll be interesting what time, if they really go head to head, like time wise. Like, will Chael be walking when DC is walking? That would be cool, actually.
Oh yeah, that would be. I mean, who's the other main event on Chael's card? Chael, Rampage, and then who's the other fight? Is it Mitrione?
It's Lima. It's Lima and Rory McDonald.
Oh, that's some killers right there.
Lima, Rory McDonald, DC. Who's the second title fight on the UFC? It slipped my mind. There's 2 title fights.
Yeah, DC and Ozdemir or something like that, I think his name is.
Oh yeah, and then Ngannou and Stipe. Man, I can't believe Stipe is a plus 155 underdog. Have you
seen Francis Ngannou?
What do you
mean? I love Stipe, man, but I'm going with an Ngannou, man. That guy is. Did you see him knock out Overeem?
Yeah, but Overeem had his hands down and walked right into an uppercut. I mean, Overeem's been knocked out times than I've been 86 from bars. Okay, I mean that's not a testament. Plus, Overeem thought he was going to walk right through him. He wasn't giving the guy any respect. Trust me, Stipe's going to win this fight. I mean, I was wrong on the GSP one. I'm due for a big underdog. And this is the one. It's going to be, if you want to make a bunch of money, you take Stipe, Chael, DC, and Lima. Put those 4 fights together, if you can. If you gambling junkies that listen to me, if you're sporting, I wonder if you can do that. I wonder if you can cross parlay. You should be able to. You should be able to do that. That'll be some homework for me. I think that'll be a good bet. I'll figure out what site you have to go to place that 4-teamer. No, you're marking out for Ngannou just like everybody is. Just like all of the. You're the guy that thinks if the guy's got a bunch of muscles, he's really tough.
But he got on the mic after he tried to do a murder, and then he said "fuck slavery." That guy, he dressed up back as an African tribes leader and went and chased some cheetahs down with spears and killed them as people. I mean, that guy is not messing around, man. That guy's raw.
Okay, all right. He might be, man. He might be. I mean, Steve, I'm really, really hoping Stipe runs right through him because Stipe, again, man, if you think for 1 single second, just 1 single second, a dude that would run into a burning building is scared of a fist fight, you're out of your goddamn mind. Okay?
No, he's not scared. He's not scared.
These firemen are crackpots, man. They're looking for the bigger fire. They're looking for the fucking Tower of Inferno. Okay? So he's got the Tower of Inferno. You're going to see the best Stipe. I hope he puts him on his ass. I hope he puts him on his ass because 265 pounds with Stipe on top of you, it's not gonna pan out. But Stipe's a pretty good boxer too. I don't think everybody's putting too much emphasis on a uppercut that Overeem literally made sure his head was in line for. I mean, there wasn't nothing technical about that. Overeem took a sloppy punch or a sloppy kick, had his hands flat down and his head leaned over, and Ngannou hit him with an uppercut. Well, I could have thrown that uppercut and knocked him out. From the positioning they were in. He didn't do anything technical to get that. So I believe the world's marking out. I think, again, Ngannou is a killer, but he's not going to beat Stipe.
I'm pretty sure as we speak, Ngannou is in the Amazon River swimming and wrestling with crocodiles and, killing giant boa constrictors, and then he, wrestles gorillas or something like that.
Yeah, and Stipe's pouring the back patio to his brother-in-law's house out in South Boston, and he's going to put at least 2 fires out tonight, and have a sixer. Okay, and drink a sixer. So we need a hero, man. We need some people to come in and take over the mantle for Conor McGregor, because Conor McGregor's not going to fight again. He's not going to fight, and if he does, it's going to be a long time. He's going to box. He told us yesterday or the day before, I'm not coming back till September. Yeah, that's because you're going to box again in the summer for $100 million, and you should. You have kinked the system. You have done a fantastic job. You have taken over 2 sports, and you are the coolest guy in the world. But you're not going to fight mixed martial arts. So as fans of mixed martial arts, we need a hero, and that hero is in Cleveland, Ohio, named Stipe.
Or he's in the jungles of the Amazon, and his name is Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, or he's in the jungle of the Amazon named Francis Ngannou. What else? What else do we got going on? How long are we? Chael it would irritate Chael to no end when I would ask Jacob, who I believe is Chael's new broadcast partner, which means theoretically, or not theoretically, but practicality wise, I was replaced by a 2. Like, if you get replaced by a 2, man, that's a hard pill to swallow. So anyway, how long we been rolling, brother?
What do we got? An hour? We're probably there. I mean, I don't know if we.
Like, you don't have one of those. You don't have one of those devices called a clock.
I do have a clock. I just can't remember when we started. I think it's been a good hour and 15. Is that about
45 minutes max? But anyway, that's enough. Do you have anything? Do you have any other talking points? You got any other questions? I know you're a huge Randy mark. You usually got some Randy questions for me.
What did Randy do for strength and conditioning? Did he change that up all the time too?
Once he hired he used to do this thing called, and it's online, where it was 8 sets of 8 reps. So there was 130.
Oh, the grappling circuit, whatever.
There wasn't grappling. Didn't exist. He took this from wrestling. So what it was what's that when you have 245s on a bar? 135 pounds. So he would. So he'd take 135 pounds, and he would shoulder press it 8 times, 8 cleans, 8 deep squats, 8 upper rows. I want to say 8 curls. There was 8 sets of it. You can watch it online. It's a brutal workout. And he would, he'd take a minute off in between rounds, and he would do 3 to 5 rounds of that, depending on. Well, it was always 5 rounds because he was always fighting 5 rounds. But as his career, as the sport grew, he always had a what are they called? The exercise coach, the strength and conditioning coach. Which what's funny about the strength and conditioning? Who's got the fat strength and conditioning coach? Some famous fighter, some awesome fighter has a fat strength and conditioning coach. I think it's Ricky Story. I do. I think it's Ricky Story. I think Ricky Story out of Oregon, who's just built like a brick shithouse. I think he has a fat strength and conditioning coach, which I love, by the way. That's just beautiful. So anyway, me and Brother Sin, to the fans of the show, Scott, thank you for doing this. We got to get Brother Sin to the fight. I'm in agreement with you on that because I'm very, as a fan, I'm very spoiled. I've been to 25 of these, numerous world championship fights. I've had press passes, I've had corner passes. I've had a good run of this thing. But for the fans that haven't, that have maybe never even made it to a big show, yeah, Brother Sin, you owe it to the fans to go out there. I mean, he named his kid Chael. I mean, if you name your kid Chael, you kind of got to go to the fight.
You have to go. Well, and if Lad's trying to go, Lad has to go too. One of the best stories you'll ever hear is Lad tell the story of how Randy was just his dad's best friend. And then the day he found out who Randy was, it's so awesome to hear Lad tell that story. It is so awesome because he just like, wait a minute, you're who?
All right, I'm gonna end the show on this. I'll give you a countdown. You ready for the countdown? 1,
Count it down.
2, 3, peace.
Peace.